What is going on, guys? Welcome to your 11th Java game development tutorial. And before we get started in this, I need to change something I messed up in my last tutorial. In our animation class that we made, we actually set our constructor to private. Embarrassing. We need to make that public or else it's going to be virtually useless to us. So now let's go ahead and begin our tutorial. And don't forget to change that. It's pretty important. So in my Bucky main class, and I say main class because it holds my main method, and I'm not going to be going over anything in my main method because I told you guys before, go outside your main method, and this is where we're going to start our tutorial. Again, you should know all this stuff from your last tutorial. Now, what we're going to need in this tutorial to start out is 3 different variables. We need a screen variable to access our screen class, an animation variable to access this animation class right here, and also a background variable to store the image of our background. So let's go ahead and make them all private. Screen, and I'll just name it screen, simplicity, and private image, I'll name my background BG, and this is going to hold my background image, and private animation, and I'll just name that A because I'm lazy and I don't feel like typing animation out. So this is going to be my screen object, my background variable, and my A is going to have access to the animation class. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is probably build a method to load the pictures from our computer to local variables so we can use them in our game. So let's go ahead and put public void load pics, and it's not going to take any parameters. Awesome. And the first thing we're going to want to do is probably load our background. So set the background equal to new image icon, and as a parameter, remember it takes a string, come on cursor, of where the image is, or the file path pretty much. So this is C dot backslash backslash. I had mine in a folder called test, and I named it back.jpg. And now once you got your file path, just get that image using the built-in method getImage. So now we need to do this for our 2 animation images, and remember I have 2 pictures in my animation, one with my eyes closed and one with my eyes open, so we'll give the appearance that like I'm blinking, I guess. So image, I'm going to name the first one face 1, and this is me with my eyes open, and we'll just copy this because we're lazy, and copy that crap right there and paste it right over there, and it's in the same folder, but this one is called face1.png. and now for my other one, we can just copy that whole thing right there. This is a little too easy. Face2, and of course change the file. So now we got our background loaded in this variable and our 2 images of my face loaded in this variable. So now we need to make our animation object. So A equals new animation right there. Constructor doesn't take any parameters. So now we have access to all the methods in our animation class through the A object. So let's go ahead, and the first thing we want to do is add these new faces and convert these pictures to a scene. So remember, in our animation class we had this method called add scene right here, and what it did is it takes a picture, aka face 1 or face 2, and it adds it to our array list, and it also sets the time it wants to play it. So let's go ahead and do that right now. A.add scene, and it tells us our parameters. First, what image do we want to add? Face 1, and how long do we want it to play? 250 milliseconds, and this is a quarter of a second. So now that we added this scene, or added the image to our array list, we want to add the other image as well. So we want that image to play for a quarter of a second, and we also want face 2 to play for a quarter of a second. So now let me just take this extra spacing out of there, and let me add a little comment. Loads pictures from computer to Java and add scene. So that's what this method load pics does. And now let's go ahead and build our run method, and this method is going to be the main engine to run, and it's what's going to be called from the very first main method right here, so we better not mess it up. Name it public void run, and again a display mode, and we'll just name it DM is going to be passed in. You guys should know what the display mode is, just like the settings pretty much. And let's go ahead and make our screen object equal to new screen. So now we have access to all that stuff in our screen class. So now we can try to do a couple things in our try block. The first thing we're going to want to do is take that screen, and remember we made a method called set full screen in there, and it's going to take the display mode, we're going to pass it in, and new J frame as a parameter, which is the window pretty much. And what else do we want to try right off to begin with? Well, the first thing we want to do is load those pictures like we just built right up here, load pics. And right after that, we want to do something called movie loop. And what this method is going to do, and I know we didn't build it yet, but it's going to be the main movie loop, and it's pretty much going to loop through and play your movie. So after we try that, what do we want to finally do? Well, since we're in full screen, what we want to do is get out of full screen. So after we're done playing our movie, just restore screen just like that. So in essence, here's what we did in this tutorial. We loaded all the pictures from our computer to use them. We added those pictures as scenes in our movie, and then after that we just put it in our run method. So now that we have that method, we can finally use this run method. And all this does is pretty much set up your screen right here, loads the pictures obviously, and plays your movie. So that's all this program is going to do. Pretty much to load pictures and play a movie. And now of course we need to build a couple other methods called movie loop and also another draw method. But probably one more tutorial and we will be animating our first animation, and it will be amazing. It'll be a huge stepping stone, because this is one of the most important things in games, animation. But enough with me rambling on. I'm sure you're ready to get to the next tutorial. So thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next tutorial.